Are you on the market searching for the best affordable electric skateboard in 2023? Inside the box we are going to reveal the Meepo V3S that for me, maybe it's the best affordable skateboard that you can purchase. What is my thoughts outside of the box, what you can expect. If you want to know everything about it, stay tuned until the end of the video. Hi everyone, Marcus here from madpack, and if you love tech and if you love discounts, this is the place for you because everything that I bring to you guys have links on the description below, and today is not an exception. Inside the box I have a Meepo electric skateboard, the V3S, the successor of the V3, and also I can say that is the successor or the not successful Meepo V5. But let's open the box and see a little bit closer this one. And like I said, this is a very affordable electric skateboard. For a long time that I was not bringing any electric skateboards to the channel, and at this price, a long time I was not bringing anything. Since the V3 was the most successful electric skateboard from Meepo, when we talk about affordability, they contact me and say, do you want to review our recent Meepo V3S? And I said, why not? Let's see a little bit closer. And this is not the full review. The full review I'll be doing with Zach, because in that way the video is more interesting. Like all electric skateboards, the box is inside the box. Like you can see, you have the logo of Meepo and nothing else, and you have this handle. Inside the box you should find an electric skateboard with a deck of 38 inches. It's a maple deck, supposedly is very flexible. The motors of this one, we are talking about a 540 watts motor, so more powerful than the V5 that was 500 watts motor. Something that I said in the past, the V5 was not really successful, because even if it's an entry level, I think that many of you guys are searching for something that is a little bit more powerful. This is their answer for that. When we talk about speeds, you can reach 29 miles per hour on this little board, and you can, when we talk about kilometers per hour, we are talking about 47 kilometers per hour. I have to say to you guys that even not a long time ago, many boards we were not even able to reach above 40 kilometers per hour. So obviously we'll have to test it out. But inside the box you'll find obviously your board, and it will look like this. And I really like the look of it until now. When we talk about the grip tape is not bad. It's also not the best grip tape that I've seen until today. One thing that I'm not so happy is the screws. They are not completely flush. We will come back to the skateboard in 1 second. When we talk about the charger, then basically the output is 2 amps. I would like to have seen here 3 amps, but is what it is. Something that I really like is the fact that they have sent to me a UK plug. We have the skate tool, and it's a very simple one. It's a tool that you'll see basically in all Chinese brand electric skateboards. You have here a plug, and I believe that is to remove the battery if you need to charge it. The user manual, that to be honest is not really relevant. Another thing that I'm really happy about this one, it's the remote. The remote is really big and is very comfortable. The feeling of it, it's a bit plasticky. Like I said, for a long period of time that I was not bringing anything so cheap to the channel, so I'm used to a little bit better quality. The remote is much better than you'll find before. If I'm not wrong, this one is the M4S, and we will talk about the screen in a second and everything that you can do with it when we'll be able to jump into the skateboard. You have your charging cable, and is already USB-C, so thanks God to the USB-C gods, because I simply hate it when it's not. And you have some extra bushings, and these ones, they are very hard. These ones are 108 bushings, so if you want to remove the bushings that you have in there and swap for these ones, you'll be able to do it. We'll see which ones we have on the skateboard in a minute. Just my first impressions. Like I said, the grip tape is not bad, but I had better grip tapes than these ones. The screws, they could be completely flush. One thing that I like about this skateboard, and now you have multiple skateboards doing the same, but you have an arrow that can shows you which part is the front of the skateboard and which part is is the back of the skateboard, so definitely a plus. You have this handle that is really easy to grab it, and one thing that you can see is even if it's not in the center, is quite leveled. So they have done that because obviously this side of the skateboard will be more heavy because you have your batteries. So in that case, if the handle was exactly on the center, it will be unbalanced, and definitely that's something that I really like about this one. The skateboard, it's a maple deck and supposedly is very flexible, and like I said, we'll be testing out, is slightly concave but is not really aggressive, if it makes sense. So it's not something like the Baja board that is super uncomfortable. Here is going to be comfortable for sure. If we talk about how wide it is, I'll have plenty of space to put my feet. As you can see, it's slightly bigger than my hand all open. So my hand all open is more or less 20 centimeters. Plenty of space to put your feet. I think it's going to be very, very comfortable to ride. So when we look here on the back, you will find hub motors, and when we talk about the power of these motors is 440 watts, like I said before, so 40 watts stronger than the motors that you'll find on the Meepo V5. If it's hub motors, don't expect to have the best comfort in the world. We are talking about street tires of 90 millimeters with rubbers of 83A. They are okay, but don't expect the maximum comfort. You'll get some comfort from the flexibility of this deck in maple, so definitely a plus. So if you want to go a little bit more in detail what you find inside, you have an ESC that is the 10S Lingui. And like I said before, the remote that you have is the M4S, so definitely a much better remote that you have in the Meepo V5. When we talk about batteries inside this electric skateboard, you'll find a configuration of a 10S 2P with 21,700 cells. I prefer than the 18,650 cells, definitely a plus for me. And when we talk about the size of it, is a 216 watt hours battery, is much bigger than the previous generation that supposedly was better than this one, the Meepo V5, that only have, if I'm not wrong, 144 watt hours. And in other words, related with this type of price below $500, I have to say to you guys that is one of the biggest that you have on the market. When we talk about range, advertised is 17 miles, so 27 kilometers, and supposedly the advertised range is 2 times bigger than you'll find on the Meepo V5. Do I believe that it's possible to reach this type of range? I have to say to you, no, I don't think so, because majority of the times this range is made with someone with 70 kilos. In my case, I'm basically around 80 kilos, so definitely I'm not going to be able to take this type of range, and even less, because it's going to be Zach riding this one. So I'm thinking that we'll be doing maybe 10 miles, 11 miles. You'll have to wait until we do the full review of this one. I'm really curious to see what is his thoughts about the Meepo V3S, and also what is my thoughts about this one when we'll be testing properly on the road. But if you are concerned about the range that you can take out of the Meepo V3S, you can always jump on the extended version of this one that goes to $599, and like I said, that's the standard price without the links on the description below that will give you some discounts. And in that case, you'll have better batteries, because on that one you have already Samsung 40T batteries, so much better than the ones that you'll find in here. I don't know exactly which ones are in here, but I'll say that maybe you have an LG batteries inside this one. And also, when we talk about the total amount of watt hours, you pass from 216 to 288 watt hours, and for 599, not counting that you'll have a discount on top of it, that's also a steal when we talk about price. Another thing that is also important to say is if you choose the extended version of this one, will come with extra tires of 105 millimeters. So those tires normally makes the electric skateboard not as fast, but you'll have much more stability on that one. It will be more comfortable, and if you have roads like in the UK, I think that will be a benefit for you. And like I said, having a better battery, bigger, I think that's a plus. So now let's talk about connectivity. Is it good? Is it bad? And also, what is my thoughts about this one out of the box? When you turn upside down on this side next to the charging port, and I have to say that is a very thick one, I don't really like that the charging port is on the bottom. I normally prefer that it's more on the sides, because normally with the vibrations it will have tendency to open, but this one, the way that it's done, part of it will sit inside the USB door, because inside you have a USB and you have also your charging port. So I'm curious to see if it's going to open or not during the time that we'll be testing, me and Zach. So if definitely you don't want to lose that, subscribe to the channel. And next to it you have a button that even if the board is turned off, if you press it, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to press, but if you press it, it's going to show you the percentage of the battery that you have in here. Definitely something that is rare, or I even don't remember to see one skateboard with that. When we talk about the enclosure, it doesn't feel like cheap plastic, so definitely a plus. When we look to this deck, even if it's concave on the other side, it's very flat on this side, so there is no space between all this enclosure where you have the batteries or here where it's connected to the motors. So definitely a plus. You have this foam material that is going to be attached to this part, that this is plastic, okay? Feels like a good plastic. You have 6 screws on this side and you have 4 screws on this one. I don't think that this goes anywhere. So definitely a plus. You have some stickers there with some information. Your trucks, they are attached with 4 screws each side. So now let's talk about the back of the skateboard, and this is things that you don't see so much in other electric skateboards. So if you just rotate your tires, you could hear the beeping, is basically the motor is already turned on. So if you have your skateboard on the floor, you just have to turn on your remote and just push a little bit with your foot, and the skateboard will turn on. On the back, I can also talk that the bushings, they are 92A, so if you want that the trucks, they are a little bit harder, you can swap for the 100A that comes inside the box, so definitely a plus. And I really like the cable management here. Definitely a massive plus for me, because in the past I have reviewed an electric skateboard that when I was basically full speed, one of the cables came off and I lost 50% of my brakes. So it was really dangerous and really scary. So just have that in consideration. I imagine I was full throttle and suddenly I lost 50% of the power because one of the motors was not working, and it was really scary. Here, no problem whatsoever. You have the button is in metal, nothing in plastic, so definitely a plus. Very easy to press, and it's very easy to also see. You have a blue LED around it, so something that I really like. And on the sides you can see here the radiator, so to make obviously the motor here a bit cooler. I think the design of it is really nice. And also, if you are concerned about some water going in, is protected by this side that is full plastic, so definitely a plus. Now let's see how fast it connects. So the remote is turned off, the board is turned on, so 1, 2, 3, turn on, and is already connected. And as you can see, is really fast on your skateboard, or in this case on the remote. I really like the feeling on the hand. It's very comfortable. I like that it feels a bit more sturdy, if it makes sense, but it reacts straight away, so you don't have to go half of the way, because many skateboards, when you try to brake, sometimes nothing happens on the first millimeter, but here it happens straight away, and you can hear me trying to brake. Okay, so if I put on the mode 1, and this is something that I really don't like, I think this should be at least double click. So if you press on the button on the top, it's going to change from mode 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it's very easy that maybe you press by mistake and you change from mode 1 to mode 2 or mode 3, and it can be slightly dangerous. Not a fan of this type of design. The buttons, they are completely flush, so it's harder for you to press it by mistake. And I'm doing like this just to see if something happened, and I don't think that you are going to press it. That's something that I'll have done different. So when we are on mode 1, the speed is 6 miles per hour, and the battery is almost full, like you could see. I told you is for a 95% at the minute. So when you go to speed 2, you already go up to 11, 12 miles per hour max. When you go to speed 3, and obviously this is without weight on top of it. Whoa! Okay, so now we have here 34 miles per hour. And after we have mode 4, that it feels exactly the same. but let me just see. It seems that it just responds slightly quicker on the first second that you press it. But you have here 34 miles per hour without obviously any weight on top of it. We'll see how fast you can go, and also if you have a steep hill, if it's going to work or not. That's something that we'll be only able to test it out when we'll be leaving this room and test it properly with my good friend Zach. But yeah, this was just my quick thoughts about this skateboard. I really like it. Outside of the box, I think is really worth it for the money, but until I don't do the full review, I can tell you that it's a good purchase. But knowing Meepo and knowing everything that they've done in the past, knowing how popular was the Meepo V3, I think this one is a winner. If you want to know a little bit more in depth what is our thoughts about this one, don't forget to subscribe and check the next videos. My name is Marco, this is madpack. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment below, smash a thumbs up, do whatever you want, but always with a smile on your face, and I hope to see you in the next one.